Hey guys, this is Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy. Hey, today we're going to talk about my favorite subject, which is sales. All right, we got a great subject for ourselves today, so let's go ahead and take a look at it, and let's get ready to sell something. Our question for today is selling. What is a selling conversation, and how do you use it? What did he say? I said selling. What is the selling conversation, and how do you use it? That's a real good subject. Hey, listen, I've been in the sales game since the 80s in one form or, capacity. It's like good days, bad days. And one of the things that I've learned over the years is to have what they call a selling conversation. When I first got into sales back in the 80s, I was a pretty good salesperson. But see, one of the things I could have been was a whole lot better. Now, I was selling door to door. I did that for like 3 years, and I got a chance to get really, really good at it. But one of the things in this job, it was like a speed kind of thing. The more you did, the better, more money you made. It was really quick. So you really didn't have an opportunity to have what they call a selling conversation. And so I had to learn as I got a little bit older that when I was in sales, I started selling retail like furniture and electronics, high-end equipment and stuff like that. I needed to persuade the customer not within a couple of minutes, but I had to take care of them within about 15 to 20 to 30 minutes, sometimes up to an hour or a little bit longer. And I needed to learn how to slow down and work a selling process. Now, if you have a product that you need to sell and you're selling really quickly and you're asking for the order, sometimes we can ask for the order just a little too quick. So what I've learned in selling is to have what they call a selling conversation. I love that, selling conversation. What it basically means is when you're talking to a customer, you kind of heighten their attention. You want them to say, maybe I need to listen to this guy. Maybe he's got something important that I need to hear. And in the selling conversation, a lot of times you got to be a little romantic with a customer. And I ain't saying hold their hand or nothing like that. But what I mean is, say, for instance, when you knock on their door and you're there maybe for an appointment, they don't know you and they have no idea. And in the back of their mind, they think, dang, I ain't trying to get sold nothing, but I would like to buy something. So what I've learned is to have what they call a selling conversation. A selling conversation basically is not talk about you so much, but what's in it for the customer. You go to a house, you say, introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Gary. Oh, your name is Jack. Cool. Wow, your yard looks really, really good. And a lot of times before I even get up to the door, I'll wave at the house because sometimes people don't know you. And if you wave at the house, they may say, dang, man, I can't hire for them. They saw me. And what happens is when you knock on the door and you're talking to them, you're asking permission to be able to come into their home. And you want to say some very pleasant things about the things that you see. Now, that could be, hey, man, maybe they're got a sports team, or maybe they're into some kind of beautification of their yard. Their yard looks really, really manicured and looks really nice. You kind of want to have that kind of a conversation. Say, dang, it look real good. I like the way your place look. It is beautiful, but don't go too deep into it because they don't know you. They might think you're trying to rob them or something. But the key to success when you're having a selling conversation is to feel the customer out. Don't bum rush them and start talking about your product, especially if you're selling something of significant value, like life insurance or something like that. You don't bum rush the people. You give them a chance to kind of ease into the conversation. And what that means is, hey, man, you kind of slow it down a little bit, talk a little bit about pleasantries, and you got to stay on track because you don't want to be doing that for an hour and talking about down a rabbit hole. You want to talk about something that's going to make them benefit and you too. That's the key to success because we're having what they call a selling conversation. My name is Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy. I told you I'd tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, and the warts and all when it comes to selling. And having a simple selling conversation is so vitally important, especially if you're selling something of significance. Because, see, people need to be romanticized, and that means you got to talk to them about what's in it for them. Now, if they feel as though that you're trying to bum rush them, they're trying to slide you off and get you out the door and talk about all kinds of excuses and so forth. But once you have your selling conversation start, Well, you've had your little pleasantries. You're talking about the nice things, the kids, the pictures. See, another thing what you're doing is if you're selling, you're probing. You're asking probing questions. Well, how many people are in your family? Oh, you got children? Okay. And see, what you're doing is you're looking at their life and seeing if there are other people that you might be able to sell to. but you don't come across as a salesman and being so salesy. You're having a conversation, a selling conversation. And you're asking probing questions. Well, how old are your children? Oh, really? Okay. And where do you work? And, oh, you got more family in the community? And who told you about us? And so forth and so forth. Those are really good probing questions because you can find out a little bit more about their family and friends and people who are in the community they know, and you can get more referrals. It's just a really good thing to do. Okay. And having a selling conversation, again, you're not browbeating. You're just being jovial, you're talking, and then you'll switch gears. And then you'll say, well, listen, this is real cool. And oh, I love your fan. Oh, it's great and everything. And by the way, this is what we've got going on here in this particular product. And let me go over some of the benefits. And a lot of times what people will do is they'll just start talking about all the features and all the stuff, but they ain't got nothing to work with. So what I do is I have a little book. And in my little book, it's got pictures. It's got information that the customer can look at, and I can go step by step about what's in it for them. Not in what's in it for me, but what's in it for them. Because, see, customers, they want to own stuff. They want to buy stuff. They just don't want nobody to try to sell them stuff. And when you're having a simple selling conversation, I open my little book up, I'll show them. Well, normally what we do is we fill out one of these, but let me go over this first with you. Here's some features and some benefits. I'll talk about how it can work in their lives, how it can work in their budget, and give them some options. You got to want to give them about 2 or 3, and the reason being is if you only give them one option a lot of times, they may say, no, it's just not. I got to think about it. I don't really know. I got to ask Fred down the street what his opinion is. And I'll tell you what, if you at least give them 2 or 3 options, at least you have an opportunity to be able to close a sale easier. Because what you're doing is you're giving them choices to be able to choose. Remember, we're having a selling conversation. And when you talk about your product, don't go through it like a fine-tooth comb and talk about every little single thing that you're trying to sell. What you want to do is have the conversation and talk about features, a few benefits, what's in it for the customers, how they're going to be able to use it in their homes, how they're going to be using it in their lifestyle, and so forth. But see, here's the thing. A lot of times people, they just keep going and going and going about features, and the customer's going, dang, I wish they shut up. I'd like to buy this, but dang, we ain't having a conversation. He trying to sell me something. And remember what I told you, our topic for today is selling and having a sales conversation and how to use it. The way you use it, again, is just continuously talk to the customer about a few things and tell them how it's going to work in their lives, what's going to benefit. And what I always do is I like to I get a piece of paper, and when I'm selling something of value, what I'll do is the customer will start talking about things that are interested to them. And I'll just start jotting it down, and they'll look at me like, what are you doing? Sometimes they'll even ask me, what you doing? I just say, listen, I'm one of them kind of people. I forget stuff sometimes. And it's really beneficial for me to be able to write stuff down and be able to give it back to you if I forget. And they'll look at you and go, okay, that sounds good. And see, what you're doing is you're also getting the customer accustomed to you writing. So that when you start writing up the presentation, the paperwork, it ain't such a big deal because they've been seeing you writing. And as you're having your selling conversation, you start talking about the benefits and what's in it for them. And then you ask them, is there any questions that you may have or concerns about this? And a lot of times, if they start asking questions, they're interested. Remember, we're having a selling conversation. We're trying to sell something, but we're not trying to make it seem like we're pushy. So we ask those probing questions about, hey, do you have any concerns? Because we just went over the product. We talked about the features and the benefits. And they're like, yeah, I'd like to know about this or this. And you just ask them, and you're writing it down. And if they start balking about, well, I don't know if I want to get this or not, and then you go back to your little piece of paper, well, hold on a second, Mr. Johnson or Mrs. Johnson, you said that if we could get this in green, it would be something that would work for your decor. Does that sound right? Yeah, that does. And you also said that, hey, listen, now you can do this over the phone. You can do this in person, business to business. And then what you do is you just say, well, you did say that if we could get it delivered out on the 14th, that it would be beneficial for you. Would that be the truth? Yeah. See, the more yeses, and you want to ask these probing yes questions. You like to save money? Yes. And do you like to get your stuff delivered on time? Yes. Do you feel as though if you found a good value, it would make you a better person and you could save a lot of money? yes. Because you got to have those yes questions. And remember, it's a numbers game, guys. Not every sale is going to be a sell. And every time you sell or have a conversation with a customer, you have a better chance of selling the product. Remember, the topic for today is selling. What is the selling conversation and how do you use it? Remember, once you start writing stuff down, the customers are used to it. You're asking these questions. You're putting the ball back in their court, trying to get them to talk to you. Because, see, if they ain't talking back to you and energetic and being a part of the conversation, they ain't listening. So a lot of times what I like to do is I like to hand people stuff. I like to hand them a phone if I have to do it at the door. I like to go ahead and go through my little portfolio, my little book. I got some features on there as far as what the guarantees are. Talks about what the step-by-step services are going to benefit them. And I show it to them. Because, see, some people, they may be auditory, but, see, a lot of people are visual. And if you can visually show them what would be the benefit by buying the product, you're going to get yourself a sale, buddy. That's just real good common sense. And our topic is selling. What is the selling conversation and how do you use it? Listen, I've been in sales a long time in one form or capacity, but see, here's the key to success in selling. When you have a selling conversation, it's got to like be ebb and flow. Now, I've worked with some guys and ladies that I work with. They'll talk to the customer, just talk to them, talking about their family, about their friends, talk about, some basic stuff, what they're going to use it for, how it's going to work in their life. Can they see themselves? That's the question you ask. Can you see yourself? Let's take a look. If you were using this in your home, which room would you put it in? Oh, if you're going to be this nice new car, if you had this new car, where would you be going? Who would be seeing this? If you bought this new home, would your family be coming down? If you got this life insurance, who would be the benefit? Who would be the person that would take care of your last days and things of this regard? See, what you're doing is you're opening up the customer to have a conversation. They want to talk, but see, the more you let them talk, they'll talk themselves into owning stuff. And all you got to do is ask for the order. Did you want to go ahead and get that? And they'll say yes or no. And if they say no, well, let's ask some more probing questions. And see, here, the key to success in this regard is to get the customer to have a selling conversation. Just a simple conversation about why they should invest. And listen, if they have the means and the where to and the how, and we can fit it in their budget, they're going to buy something, honey. That's just the way it works. Because selling is a good thing. It's a good career. But the key to success in selling is you got to have a conversation. Like I said, I've seen a lot of salespeople. They'll go blah, 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 blah. And the customer's going, oh, crap. Or they'll get this glazed look. Damn, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I wish they'd leave. Okay. And they do. And they will walk away and they'll just say, I'm not interested. And see, here's the key. Not everybody, again, is going to buy what you're trying to sell. But see, the key to success is to have the selling conversation. Give them the choices. Now, it's a dance. It really, really is, guys. It's just a simple dance. It's one that you have to work on. Because I've been in sales for a long time. When I first started, I just knew how to ask for the order, and I got lots of sales. But see, I might have missed a whole lot of sales until I learned about how to have a selling conversation. It sounds real simple. It really is. And I'll probably do another video on it. So give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Share it with some other people, other salespeople, because I got a bunch of cool sales videos, and I want my son to just go ahead and say something. This is my son, Dominic. Go ahead, Dom.
Hey, what's up, guys? If you guys like this video, press that big thumbs up, and also subscribe if you guys want to see more videos. Comment down below what you guys want to see, and thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.
That's my awesome son. That's Dominic, the sales guy, and I'm Gary Lee Stanley, your sales guy. We just had a very simple conversation about selling. What is the selling conversation and how to use it? I hope you learned a little bit. I know it's a process. The more we learn, the better we get. Positive in, positive in, out. So go out there and sell something. And don't forget, don't browbeat, don't push. Have a selling conversation. Dang, that sounds real good. Selling conversation. Talking. I've seen some people make some big money because they didn't try to sell nothing. They just talked and had a conversation. So go out there and sell something and have a nice day. Here's a little fist bump. Boom, boom. Have a nice day. All right.